The first is that we obviously, Coach, the person has. We got to get these guns off. We got to find a way. I mean, I understand people talking about that gun buy wasn't all that.
Oh, that was a waste of
No,
time.
it wasn't, Coach. I found out they collected 1,500 guns.
But,
okay?
But, so what?
So what? That means from 1 to 1,500 less guns available for
Larry,
people
no,
to
it
do.
doesn't mean that.
What does it mean, Coach? What does it mean?
It means that there were guns that weren't being used.
Oh, they weren't being used.
Okay, because
and won't get to be used. And won't get to be used.
But there are other guns.
Yes, there are too many other guns.
During the same time that they were having the gun buyback, you had shootings every single day.
And whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
Wait a minute, whose fault is it?
There was the problem is...
The gun buyback is a waste of time.
It's not.
Okay, well...
I'll tell you one thing for sure, and a true fact is, whatever they got, it can't be used.
But whatever they got probably wasn't being used.
How you know?
A gun buyback is the same as you and I taking clothing again to a Goodwill store. We're turning in stuff that are old and we don't use.
Some of that has always been used from day one when they do that. I'm sure you're right about a percentage of it.
Larry, I'm right about it. It's listen, you know what? It was something that the city, that the police department wanted to do. The mayor signed off on it, in my opinion. And that, look, at the end of the year, you know, we want to at least show the public that we're trying to do something. All right? I give them that. I don't have a problem with that. But to say that it was effective, that it works, it simply does not.
All I know is if you got 1,500 and 1,000 of them could have been used for other purposes, it won't get to be used for other purposes. I'll go as far as to say 1/3 of them might be trashed. But the other 1,000 or so, Coach, from what I'm told, it was a good situation in terms of what was turned in.
Well,
now, I wasn't there.
Larry,
I've seen them at the camera, Bill Gooden, and people like that who have this kind of issue. He always wants to know.
If you believe that the gun buyback made a dent, I'm talking about just a dent.
If it saved one life, then it did what it was supposed to do.
I don't think it did.
Well, thank goodness you will never be able to be proven wrong. I guess I won't ever be proven right. But one thing I do know, there's 1,500 less guns on the street.
And I know that the shootings continue.
And that's a damn shame. And that's a shame. And that when they go out to do whatever the mess they got in their heads to do, they're shooting people in their head by a greater percentage than ever before.
And that means that
you got some sick people out here.
Well, but we have to be a little more practical than say that there's sick people. They're people.
Some of them are murderers.
What they're doing? I'm getting ready to tell you. Okay, they are in a culture, and they're in a culture that they should not be in. Okay, most of when people get shot in the head like that, they're targets. And if they're targets, then that boils down to a beef, a retaliation, or drug activity.
They become murderers. Do they not?
Larry, that's the culture.
You have a hard time. I'm supposed to accept that? Because you said that's what it is.
I'm not saying you should accept it.
It's 9 o'clock here on 1010 WLB.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ-FM HD3 Baltimore, a Radio 1 station where information is power. Being brought to you by Maryland Live Casino.
Good morning. This update is sponsored by Compassion International. You can change the world for a child in extreme poverty through Compassion International. Just text child to 83393 to sponsor a child today. Johns Hopkins University is mourning the passing of its head football coach, Jim Margraf, died Wednesday at age 58. Margraf is a former quarterback for the Blue Jays and had been their head coach for 29 years. He led the team to the NCAA Division III semifinals, where the team lost to Mount Union last month. Margraf had recently been named the D3Football.com National Coach of the Year. Baltimore County fire officials are identifying the 59-year-old woman who died in a New Year's Day apartment fire in Dundalk.
What's going on,
Lillian
Christine
Lindemann
Flowers?
was found dead at the scene of the fire in the 2800 block of Dunlawn Court Tuesday
Talk
night.
to me.
A second person who lived in the apartment building was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators say the fire began when smoky materials ignited combustible items. City police are investigating after finding a man's body in South Baltimore. The victim's body was recovered from the water in the 1800 block of Annapolis Road yesterday afternoon. Investigators have not released the victim's identity or if they suspect foul play was involved. An autopsy will be conducted to determine the cause of his death. City police are also investigating a shooting in West Baltimore. Officers were called to the 1100 block of Pennsylvania Avenue at around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon and found the victim nearby on Dolphin Street. The victim was apparently waiting at a bus stop when a shooter opened fire, then got into a car and fled the scene. There is no word on the victim's condition. Democrats in Washington will try to end the shutdown today when they regain control of the House. The partial government shutdown enters its 13th day with Congress still deadlocked over a funding bill. Democratic leaders have bills to end the shutdown, but President Trump has already denounced their plan because it lacks money for a wall along the southern border. Now here's Fox 45's Jonathan Myers with a look at your forecast.
From the Weather Authority Storm Center, I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers. Early gray giving way to afternoon sunshine today. Highs 50 to 55. Tonight mostly clear. Seasonable cold and a low 25 to 30.
Right now it's 45 degrees under cloudy skies. I'm Tony Thornton on Baltimore's Larry Young Morning Show right here
folks.
on 1010 WOLB.